You and your seatmate paid for the exact same seat on the exact same flight, same row, same legroom, same pretzels. You paid $389. She paid $179. Your instinct says algorithm, greed, chaos. All three are wrong. What actually happened is older, stranger, and more deliberate. And it started with one airline trying to kill another. 1985, Newark Airport. People Express is selling flat $1990 fares, Newark to Chicago. No fare classes, everyone pays the same. It hit $1 billion in revenue that year. American Airlines CEO Robert Crandall had a problem. He couldn't match $99 across the board without gutting revenue from business travelers already paying $600. So his team used American's Sabre reservation system to allocate a small number of discounted seats on competing routes, just enough to match People Express for price-sensitive travelers, while holding the rest at full fare. People Express sold every seat at the same low price. It couldn't distinguish a tourist from an executive. It couldn't protect its margins. It filed for bankruptcy in 1986, 1 year. Crandall called yield management the most important technical development in transportation management since we entered the jet age. What he built to kill one airline became the operating system of the entire industry. Every flight is divided into discrete fare buckets. On a major carrier, anywhere from 8 to 26, each labeled with a letter: Y, B, M, H, Q. Bucket Y might hold 4 seats at $900. Bucket Q holds 12 seats at $189. When Q sells out, it closes. The next bucket opens at a higher price. That's the jump you saw between Tuesday and Thursday when you checked the same flight twice. The price didn't drift up. A bucket closed. The revenue management system recalculates which buckets to open or close every 90 seconds, monitoring booking pace against historical data for that route and date. If the $189 bucket is selling faster than the historical curve predicts, the algorithm closes it early before it's technically full to protect seats for higher paying buyers who haven't arrived yet. No human made that call. The bucket architecture rests on one insight. There are two types of air traveler, and they are almost perfectly opposite. The leisure traveler books 6 to 8 weeks out, is flexible on dates, and won't pay $400 when $200 exists. The business traveler books 7 to 14 days before departure, has non-negotiable dates, and will spend $900 if it's the only flight that works. The airline's job is to sell cheap seats to the first group without letting the second group buy them. That's what fare fences are for. The Saturday night stay requirement has nothing to do with weekends. It exists because business travelers almost never want to stay Saturday, so the restriction costs a leisure traveler nothing while making the cheap ticket useless for an executive. The 21-day advance purchase rule works the same way. Business trips are often confirmed last minute, so requiring 3 weeks' notice blocks them automatically. Delta formalized this in 2017 with Basic Economy, a bottom bucket with no seat selection, last boarding, no overhead bin. It costs Delta almost nothing to impose and is operationally useless for most corporate travelers. United and American copied it within months. The Airlines Reporting Corporation studied millions of domestic bookings and found the price sweet spot is 47 to 54 days before departure. Not 6 months out, not last minute. Airlines don't release deep discounts immediately. Early pricing is conservative because demand is uncertain. Cheap buckets open as the departure date approaches, and the algorithm gets a clearer read on fill rate. Set a price alert on Google Flights or Hopper the moment you know your dates. You're not outsmarting the system. You're asking it to notify you when it opens a cheap bucket on your route. Tuesday and Wednesday departures average 10 to 15% cheaper than Fridays because leisure demand is lower midweek. Booking pace is slower, and the algorithm keeps cheap buckets open longer. That's a mechanical output, not a discount. The incognito mode trick doesn't work. Prices change between searches because buckets are closing in real time, not because the airline spotted you looking twice. You are not navigating a chaotic market. You are navigating a 40-year-old behavioral segmentation weapon that recalculates its aim every 90 seconds. The prices are not random. They are the precise output of an algorithm that has sorted you, priced you, and is waiting to see if you'll move up a bucket. The woman in your row who paid $179 didn't get lucky. She landed in a bucket that was still open. Knowing that doesn't guarantee you the cheap seat, but it means you're finally looking at the right map. Subscribe. We break down one economic system per week.